Good morning, good morning. This is Jacqueline Richardson, Miss JJ Diamond, Jackie Deja, whatever y'all call me. We have a cloudy day out here today. My allergies are like on blast. The pollen is high. The sky is cloudy, so y'all know how I'm feeling. But I wanted to address something today that I heard on the radio on Power 98 regarding a mother bleaching her 2-year-old's hair. Now, this is I can't get it out this morning. Statistics states that it's okay to bleach a dog's hair. Now, where I lived in Maryland, we had several dogs that had blue, pink hair. Not poodles. It was a couple of poodles, the toy poodles, and what is the other dog? I'm trying to think of the other dog's name. But anyway, statistics states that dogs' hair can be bleached. And they had a salon where they can take the dog's hair to be done. Okay? And with me having a product that can be used on dogs and babies, okay? Because their skin is very sensitive. And if it's done professionally, I would say, yes, it's okay for her to bleach her child's hair. Should she have done that as a mother? Now that's the statistic standpoint of view. As a mother, okay, a mom, me, of 4 kids, would I have done that? No. Okay? Reason being, these products have chemicals in them. Okay? And just like a dog has to be a certain age in order to get his hair bleached, I know that child has to be a certain age to get her hair bleached. Okay? And these chemicals can possibly hurt the way her brain forms and organs form. Develop. I'm sorry, I used the wrong word. Develop. Okay? And that's one of the things that we have to look at, the development. Going through the stages of 2 and 5, the children's brain is developing. This is why we give them, excuse me, vitamins. It's who makes it? Is it Similac? I can't remember what company makes this product. They had sent me some when I had my grandson with me to pretty much test it out. And it promoted brain health, okay? Now, y'all know he was 2 when he was with me. He had just turned 2, and I started giving it to him. They sent it right after he was born. However, I received it, held on to it, because it said from ages 2 to 4, okay? And it was designed to promote brain health, okay? Now, during that time is a very critical time for a child because they're trying to learn memory, they're getting motor skills, different things like that, okay? And you don't want nothing to delay that. So as a parent, I personally would have never bleached my child's hair due to the fact of them needing to promote, where am I going with this? Lord Jesus, I'm sleepy, y'all, and my allergies are messed up. For her to bleach their hair, not knowing if her child's brain is promoting the right brain cells for growth. Okay? That's where I was trying to go with it. Okay? At 2 years old, a child should be saying their ABCs, I'm going to use Egypt for instance. I mean, she's a little smarter than most. But I was raising Egypt in my womb. Okay? I talk to her every day. I would sing ABCs with her every day while she was in my belly. Certain songs I would play for her every day in my belly. So when she came out and I sung those same songs, she automatically knew these songs until she was able to learn how to speak. Okay? And she didn't really speak much until she was 2. But once she started really, really fluently talking, it was like she was an adult. Okay? She just had to figure out what to do. So while she was in my womb and after she came out, that was her learning process. Okay? Not only was she learning about what she was hearing, now she's able to see and put all of it together. So even in the womb, these babies, they learn. Okay? And I'm a proven fact. I would read to her in the womb. So it actually depends on how this woman is raising her child's brain. We have a choice as parents on how we want our child to progress and learn. Okay? That's why people kill me when they say, oh, my child has autism or my child has a slow-paced brain. Well, part of that is your fault, because if you would have been sitting down working with this child, they wouldn't be behind or they wouldn't be slower. Okay? And that's just my theory. Autism wasn't a thing in my generation. If you were a little bit slower, you got a classroom that was a little bit smaller so the teacher can work directly with you. And then some of them kids became smarter than the kids that was in regular classes. Okay, so it's based, to me, this is just my theory. If your child is a little bit slower than others, you as a parent have to take that time out and work with that child. Okay? Now, all of my children was very smart. So smart, sometimes they was dumb. Okay, I gotta say that. Because they made a lot of bad choices as they became adults and decided to go out into the world and learn from other people. But as me teaching my child, and especially Egypt was the last child and the first child that I physically took that time out from the time that the doctor said that I was pregnant, and did the work as a parent, okay? And talked to my baby, rub my belly, let her feel my emotions, read to her inside my belly, it was an experience, okay? Because I took a different approach than the regular pregnancies that I had. And the reason being is because that was my third child. So by this point, I'm a pro mom, you know what I mean? So things that I could have done, you see stuff and you're like, oh, damn, I could have did that with my baby. But I didn't. Well, I didn't know. So we have to learn as parents to do our research and understand why some kids are a little bit smarter than others, because their parents take that time out and put that work in. And that's why I tell people, don't just be having babies. You got to be ready to have a child, okay? And that's just the facts. You have to be ready. That, I get the if it's God's will, we have these babies, but try not to get pregnant so it won't be God's will, okay? We have a choice, because as parents, we are responsible for even how our children learn. We're responsible for that. It was funny because my grandson came here a couple of weeks ago, and he's standing in my face and he's talking all these big words, right? And I'm looking at him like, okay, so who you been around or what you been reading? Because he's not stupid. He just had mental issues. He had anger issues, depression issues, and it's a part of his life that he went through. However, he was a child that I put to the test as well, but he wasn't my child. So it's not like I was able to teach him from the womb. Okay? So it's a process, people, and granted, yes, when we push out these babies, it's your child. So you can do pretty much what you want with your child if you have custody. Okay, that's the key too. Okay? If you have custody of your child, you can pretty much do whatever you want to your child other than abuse it. Okay? Now, abuse overrides custody. You can have custody, but if that child is being neglected or abused, the government has to step in. Okay? 80% of the world does not have custody of their children. I had custody of every one of my children. I learned that early on. The only way to get custody of your children, full custody of your children, is to step in court with a judge. So, like, if you go into court for child support, and I know I'm taking this somewhere else, y'all, but y'all do need to know this information. If you go into court for child support, yes, the father or the mother will be granted either dual custody, or the mom would have full custody based on the child living with her, and the father would have custody as well. But it will be a little bit different because the parent that the child lives with gets more custody because they're there with them on a regular basis, and they have to make those decisions on a regular basis. Now, let me tell you what custody does. Okay, like, I'm going to use my son, for instance. When my son bit off his tongue, and I wasn't home, I was at work, they took my son to the hospital. They called me up, and they said, at that time, was my name Richardson? No, my name was Dowdy then, I believe. I wasn't married yet. Yes, my name was Dowdy then. They said, Miss Dowdy, we need you to get to the hospital right away. And I said, why? And they told me, your son bit his tongue. So I'm like, my son bit his tongue, and you want me to get to the hospital? It didn't make sense to me. But of course, I went on to the hospital, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm praying on the way there. And when I get there, my son's tongue is in a jar, and I almost fell to the floor. Well, I did fall to my knees. But I looked at him, his shirt was full of blood, and they needed me to sign papers. Okay? When you go to the hospital and something like that has happened to your child, you have to sign these papers. Okay? They give you that opportunity. Okay? Especially if you have full custody. Now, if they couldn't get a hold of me, they would have tried to get a hold of his father. Okay? But if his father didn't have custody or parental rights, he wouldn't have been able to sign that paperwork. They would have had to continue to look for me or to override that and go ahead and take my son to surgery before he loses his life. Okay? If a parent has dual custody, meaning both parents have custody, anyone can make that decision. Okay? If they was able to get a hold of the father, that's why when you put your kids in school, or your kids go to camp, or even like gyms and stuff like that, they have on like a what is it called, YMCA. Like they have swimming there, gym, basketball, different things like that. Any place where your child can get hurt, they have a card where we fill it out. And it says on that card, mother and father, because if the mother's not available, the father's available, and vice versa. Okay, those are the people that's appointed over this child. Some parents don't have a father down because that father does not have custody and cannot make decisions for that child. Okay, just like with my grandson, he lived with me for many years. His mother could not come and make decisions for him. Only I could, because I had full custody. Okay, the judge took away the parental rights of the mother and the father. Even though I still allowed those two to come into his life and be a part of his life, they had no rights over this child. So when it came to all his medical and different things like that, I made those decisions. Okay, because he wasn't really that ill, but he had bad allergies, just like myself. So I had to make sure that I had custody to give him the right care that was needed. Okay? So it plays a big part. Would I ever take custody of another person's child? No. Never again. Okay? But those are the circumstances. Okay? So it plays a big part. Now, if I decided having custody of this child that I wanted to dye his hair, I possibly could have. He's a boy. I wouldn't have done that. Now, his mom got pissed off because my grandson's hair was very, very long. He has very, very curly, well, not now because he got dreads, but his hair is very, very curly and grows very, very fast. You know, me and his hair is similar. The only thing with his hair is if he doesn't comb it, it looks nappy. Okay? So he has to keep some type of moisturizer or something in his hair, but his hair is very, very curly. So I used to keep his hair braided up. And his hair grew so long down his back. He has such a big, puffy ponytail. Matter of fact, there's a guy here in Charlotte that has a big, puffy ponytail and used to remind me of my grandson when he was little. However, I would keep his hair braided. And it was so pretty. His hair was so pretty. And his mom was like, Mom, don't ever cut his hair. And I was like, oh, I'm not. But then my grandson got into an argument with a little girl that was jealous of him because he had more hair than she did. And he came in the house one day and he said, Mom, I want to cut my hair. And I'm like, no, your mother don't want your hair to be cut. You know, and he's like, but she's not here and you makes the decisions. Why do I have to be walking around looking like a girl? Okay. And I was like, oh man, you know, I don't want him feeling like he looking like a girl. You know, I had to think about it, you know. And I had custody. So I had to give the authority for his head to be cut off. You know? So I prayed on it and I said, well, I'm going to let this child make the decision for himself. He wants his hair cut. He doesn't want to look like a girl, even though his hair is so pretty. You know, and his mom didn't want his hair cut. And she got an attitude with me. And she was upset with me because I cut his hair. However, as a parent dealing with a child in his mind, feeling some kind of way about, you know, I look like a girl. I got girls mad at me because my hair is longer than mine. I want to feel and look like a boy. Okay? He didn't know that guys have long hair too. I even showed him a picture of Jesus. He still wasn't trying to hear that because he felt like Jesus ain't here going through this with me, you know? I'm going through this, you know, and I want this hair off. So I went on ahead and made that decision. Like I said, his mom was mad, but there was nothing she could do about it because I had full custody. Okay? So I get, you know, why what people are saying, oh, some of these parents, you know, some of these parents is wrong for some of the things that they do, like with the lady that bleached her child's hair. It's her choice. Especially if she has custody. Okay? And that's just the bottom line. We can't judge how she wants to raise her child. You know, she wants to raise a child with pink hair. She have pink hair. She wants her to live in a fairy tale. A Disney mom, maybe. Who knows? We put pink hair in our kids' hair. Granted, it's fake hair. But we do it. We put blue, purple. Nobody said anything to us. You know, so we got to stop judging until we know the facts, you know, of why she's done it. You know, the little girl might have been watching her Disney shows and said, Mommy, I want my hair to be pink like the mermaid or whatever the case may be. Mommy, please. You know, you don't know what was going on in that household. You know, her daughter might have been sad every single day. We don't know. And she said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this and make my baby feel better. Because she see all the bigger girls, wearing the colorful hair. Why can't I have colorful hair? Now, me as a parent would have just went out and bought some colorful hair and put a braid in her hair and said, there you go. There's your colorful hair, However, maybe she doesn't know these things. But it's still her choice. And we have to learn to stop judging what's going on, because y'all always just see the outcome. You never see the behind the scenes and what's going on to get to that outcome. So yeah, I say all that to say, I don't think it's wrong. I just wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have bleached my child hair. Let me tell y'all what happened to my baby. My baby Egypt had pretty hair. And I was at work, and my father was taking care of her. Now, I had a dog. Well, I had 2 dogs. And I bought them hair clippers, okay, to cut their hair because it got so expensive. My dogs were more expensive than my kids. And I'm going to just be honest with y'all, okay? They were more expensive than my kids. And I said, you know what? I got to cut down on this cost. So I went and bought them some doggy hair clippers that look just like regular clippers. And I would cut their hair with these clippers. This particular day, I guess I was tired. I cut one of the dog's hair, and I used to do it in the bathroom, had it plugged up. And, once you cut the dog's hair, you got to clean up the hair and stuff. So it was getting late. I cleaned up all the hair and forgot to unplug the clippers and put them up. And Egypt was standing at the door. She wouldn't come in while I was cutting the dog's hair, but she would stand at the door and watch me cut the dog's hair. Okay? And her hair, she had this, I don't know what type of hair it was. It wasn't like me and Jair's hair, because me and Jair has tight curls. Her hair was like loosely curled, and it was so pretty. I would just let her wear it out, just wear it out. I would never do anything with it, but maybe put a little headband and that's it. She would just wear it out. She had all this hair, and while her dad took a nap, she woke up, I guess, and went in that bathroom and flicked that thingy on, the clippers on, and cut the whole side of her hair off. Okay, she looked like Cassie. Okay, and I was on my way from work, and her father calls, and he said, I got something to tell. No, I called them. I'm sorry, I called them because I was on my way home. There was 2 people I called when I got in my car on my way from work, and that would be my mom, and I would call home. So I didn't get my mom; she was busy. So I at work, I guess, and I called home, and I said, I'm on my way home, and Egypt's dad said, I got something to tell you, and I said, what you got to tell me, and the first thought was, because my bad kid was Jair, so I'm thinking he did something really bad, and I'm like, oh my God, what is it today? And he said, I'm going to just take a picture and show you. Never in a million years I thought that my child hair would be shaved off. And I hung up the phone. He said, I'm gonna show it. I'm going to send you a picture and show you. So I put my phone down on the seat because I'm driving home. I put the phone down on the seat, and the text came in, and I'm on the highway. So I hit the button to open up the picture. And when it opened up the picture, I saw my baby was looking like Cassie. I had to pull over. I tell you, no lie. I had to pull over. My heart just was broken. Okay? Oh, I was mad with that man. He was like, well, you the one who left the clippers out. And I'm like, well, you should have been watching her. So we was both going back and forth blaming each other on why this child, and 2-year-olds, they get into stuff. This is what they do. They want to see, but I didn't think that because she would always just stand in the door. She would never come in the bathroom while I was cutting the dog's hair. She would just stand at the door and watch me. And I don't know if for that moment she felt like she was a dog and wanted to cut her bushy hair. If she thought that, okay, when your hair is bushy, this is what we supposed to do. I don't know what she was thinking. Because her hair was bushy like the dog's. So she probably thought, well, maybe I need to cut this bush off so I could look like the dogs. Because I'm little like them. I don't know what her theory was and what her thoughts were. But she did it. So I had to make decisions as a mom. You know, do I let my daughter walk around like this and people think that I don't cut my baby hair like Cassie? You know? People would have been judging me. They would have been saying, oh, she got her baby hair cut like Cassie. Because Cassie was popping back then. So that's what I probably would have been being judged when people didn't even know the circumstances. So now I'm putting a hat on my baby until some of it grows back. It starts growing back. Then I just cut the rest of her hair off and let her rock it short until it got even. Okay, and then grew back out. And it seemed like it took forever. It just took forever. And I was so... And then what pissed me off was the grade of her hair had changed. So I'm like, well, where's that hair that she had on her head? That loose curl hair. It was different. It wasn't like how me and my grandson's hair was. And was actually 3 of us that have the same hair as me, my grandson, and his son. We all have the same hair, us 3. But her hair was different. It was just different. And I said, this is different, this hair here. And it was so soft and, and bushy, like how a dog's hair would be. But I never thought in a million years she would take the clippers and cut it off. And I had to make decisions, because I had custody of my child, as a parent. I had to make the decisions on what I needed to do with her hair to make it look sensible to the world. So I wouldn't be judged as a parent. So her father wouldn't be judged as a parent because of something she did. So, yeah, we need to stop judging what people do, because even me, I had to be self-conscious about my child walking around looking like Cassie and what people was going to think. It shouldn't matter what people think if it's your child. And that's just the bottom line. If that's what she wanted to do to her child's hair, so be it. We don't know why. For all we know, she could be hiding up from her father. Her father could be deranged, crazy. And she said, okay, well, I'll color your hair. And then that way, if he's telling somebody to look for us, they're not going to look for a child with brown hair. I mean, they looking for a child with brown hair, not auburn pink or whatever the color the hair is. So you don't know the behind the scenes issues. Just y'all people have to learn to stop judging and putting people on Front Street on a headline. It's not fair to them. I grew up all my life being a headliner on a newspaper, and everybody attached to me with negative issues. It's not a good feeling. And I know some of y'all are hired to do these things. The media is hired to do these things. But it affects people. While y'all judging, y'all don't know the situation, and y'all judging. Okay, granted, I understand, like, with my issue, when my little brother died and I was put on the front page of the newspaper, me and him, I get it. They wanted to stop abuse, wanted to make people aware of abuse. But some of this other stuff, why destroy people's lives? Because y'all want to put them as a headliner of something. Because it's something so small. Just mind your business. It's crazy how people are constantly judging other people's lives and don't know what's going on. I get that they put the bad people on the news when people get killed and different things like that, because they want to make people aware of what's going on around in their city. I get that. The same with me. Almost every one of my family members and anybody that's been attached to me, if they've done something negatively, we've been in the media. That's not a good feeling. So when y'all start picking and choosing people that y'all want to put in the media, you don't know what you're doing to their lives long term. Now, this little girl's going to have to deal with y'all taking her story and putting it in the media, making her mom look bad for the rest of her life. And this is why, one of the reasons why I'm speaking on it. Because her story was chosen. Now, everything and everybody attached to that little girl is going to be watched for the rest of her life. Because of that one incident of her mom coloring her hair, and we don't know why. And it's public information because it's going to court. That's what I was hearing on the radio. So it's something to think about, people. You know, when y'all picking and choosing, you know, y'all journalists, y'all media, y'all radio stations, y'all blogs, and y'all talking to people and don't know the inside story. And I'm going to keep this podcast short today. I got a few calls I have to make, and I have a few calls coming in. So I want to address these calls. And get my day going. I love you guys. I just wanted to throw that out there. And I'll talk to y'all soon. This is Jacqueline Richard Simmons, JJ Diamond, Jackie Deja, whatever y'all call me. Y'all have a wonderful day.